But I actually am going to share a story about how PayPal really, really, truly came through for me. Um, and I'm not affiliated with PayPal. And sometimes I kind of wish that I'd founded PayPal with the way that sort of Elon Musk has moved things towards a sustainable energy future and electric cars. That's something that Elon Musk and I have in common. The way that he was able to, use the founding of PayPal to essentially, I don't know if it's the launch of his career, but anyway, I really like it that I like the story of entrepreneurship and creating a payment solution. Um, but let's go on.
If I can.
I thought about that too, but I actually am gonna share a story about how PayPal really, really, truly came through for me. Um, and I'm not affiliated with PayPal, and sometimes I kind of wish that I'd founded PayPal with the way that sort of Elon Musk has moved things towards a sustainable energy future and electric cars. That's something that Elon Musk and I have in common. The way that he was able to, use the founding of PayPal to essentially, I don't know if it's the launch of his career, but anyway, I really like it that I like the story of entrepreneurship and creating a payment solution. Um, but So I actually had a similar experience around 2008 or 2009. It might have been 2010. What happened on my end is that I live in Europe and I also have an address in the United States. And I have a European PayPal address and I have an American PayPal address. And they did something that they called a fraud check. Now, Minnie, I actually kind of don't know how this is going to pan out because I sort of flipped through the video. It's 37 minutes long. I don't know how long my video is going to be. I hope it's not going to be an hour. I think I'm going to like fast forward all the your parts so that people can watch your video at their leisure and then they can watch my response without needing to re-watch your video. There are a lot of really, really important topics that are coming up while just kind of going through, what you experienced. For me, the PayPal fraud check froze my PayPal money for 6 weeks. And at that point, I kind of didn't know. Like, I had this PayPal debit card and I was sort of, involved in my studies and my life. And I looked at my debit card as sort of just a sort of, I don't know, a sort of free money type of thing. I was running ads and selling my music instructional ebook, two of them. And at the end of the fraud check, after 6 weeks, I had nearly $3,000 in my PayPal account. And as opposed to kind of being this trickle type of thing, it actually gave me a really, really refreshing wake-up call to say, hey, this is real money. Like, I was just going to cafes and stuff, and at that point I was in marriage, and it was just like spend. Anyway, so the freezing of the PayPal account really really gave me a wake-up call. I mean, like, $500 a week isn't, not money. That's kind of money. It was 6 weeks and it was at that point it was under but it was close to $500 a week. And I passed their fraud check. I sent them everything that they needed. and they unfroze the money. And I was like, wow, that's money. Like I was spending, and just, I mean, it's sort of like a forced savings type of moment. Um, but at least for me, I looked at that as a healthy experience. And what I'm going to get to regarding why I'm going to be eternally grateful to PayPal. There's a moment in my personal and business history where I hear, I think I know what's coming because PayPal has frozen people's money and, you know, but there was something that I experienced that was absolutely and utterly terrifying, and PayPal was my only resource, and it was pretty significant that I was able to use PayPal money. Okay, so let's go on. And PayPal does not like come in and freeze my account, but you get to call your business whatever you want. Your business can be, mytoenail.com. It can also be minismall.com, and it could be dynaswmickle.com. I mean, my PayPal business name is dynaswmi because that's as much as of my name that fits into their business profile. You can do that. There are people that have incorporated their names. Who was that? Not Tom Petty. David Bowie, I think, incorporated himself. And who else is a business name? The comedian Stephen Colbert. He is a persona, a business. We get to call our businesses whatever we want. So I'm curious what's. This is me making my own stationery. I do have stationery. This is me making my own stationery so that I have company stationery so that I can authorize myself to change my own name of my company to my name. But I have to make up a new name because it can't be my name, because they say that it can't be my name, even though. Well, I mean, another strategy essentially would be to record, because basically when they're recording for quality control purposes, they don't just give themselves permission to record. If you hear the message, this call may be recorded for quality control purposes. That's also permission for you. Now, so that's just a potential strategy. Right, and that wouldn't go into PayPal because that you download directly into one of your accounts. Right.
Must be.
Wait, so after you did a great job, did a wonderful sales campaign, made a lot of sales, there was suspicion, and then they say, we might need to close your account?
Money that was in there before they closed.
Yeah, that's horrifying. And it is infuriating. And the way I'm seeing you handle the fury based on that recognition, it's just admirable. We need citizens of the world to handle outrage the way that I'm seeing you handle it. So I'm not wearing a hat, but hats off to you for that. That's just really, really emotionally valuable for anybody who's gone that far in following you and your video, and for anybody maybe who's watching me. It's what we need, because it's 2018 now, moving on into 2028, 2038. This is what we are going to need to be taken care of. I mean, we're going to need to dismantle a pretty sinister environment that causes a lot of damage to humans and humanity and civilization and our planet. And the people that are going to be fixing things, sort of my daughter's generation and the rest of us that are still sort of around, we're going to be continuously shocked by the lack of ethics, by the amount of cruelty. Vienaldzība is the word in Latvian, by just not caring, by the apathy towards other people's suffering. That can be on an individual level and on a systematic level. So Minnie, you're handling that rage admirably, really.
Straight away.
Let's assume he had a blank document. But yeah, it's possible. It's possible that either PayPal as such or a division of PayPal as such could be doing something like that. Yeah, sure. They're looking right at it and they say, oh no, it's a blank document. It's happened before in bureaucracies. So historically, there's plenty of historical precedents for people squelching others for no reason. So.
It was a blank document, even though those.
Now I've got a bunch of dollar transactions, and it's about a third. I can't imagine we're talking about only 700 pounds. I'm doing a little bit of math, so I don't know, maybe or 4,000 or 5,000 pounds.
Sitting in that bay.
Yeah, I've been with PayPal since 2006.
Wait.
Whew. We have sort of a, who's the sinister one, and what does PayPal need to do to protect itself, and what kind of, sinister operatives is a really weird word, but what kind of sinister operatives are operating on PayPal to destroy PayPal from external and within, and how can PayPal be taken advantage of, and what does PayPal need to do to protect itself? Like, I run a website called curetinnitus.org, which is intended for people who choose a healing path from tinnitus. I can't call it tinnitus cure because then I could wind up in jail. Literally, my terms of service needs to be, if you read this information on this website, if you grow a third arm, that's your own fault. Like I say, you have to take the terms for accessing the website are you can only access the website if you take full responsibility for your own health and actions. So we have such a contentious environment with lawsuits coming so quickly and so much danger involved in being, wrapped up in some kind of a court case or some kind of a trial or some kind of an accusation, some kind of a charge where you need to defend yourself and prove yourself to be innocent. Really it's what else is PayPal going to do? Yeah. No. Imagine somebody pushing $1 million of drug money or arms money or something like that. I hope you don't have a snot. Through PayPal. What is PayPal supposed to do? Contract killers, drug money, smuggling, arms dealers, child trafficking. So you're you, but what if you're a fake artist and all the money that's coming through your account has to do with drugs or selling access to pedophiles, right? So what if you're, what if you're a fraud? And when you look at these sinister industries and you read the statistics about how many billions are flowing through their accounts, you go, how is this even possible? How is human trafficking even possible?
Now,
that's you saying that is why I'm making this video. They don't have to answer to the government. Thank goodness. And if you continue watching this video, I'll share why. There can be situations where it can be absolutely critical for you to have financial resources that do not have government oversight. I think you would have experienced understanding and possibly even some donations and patrons through an alternate payment service, and calls on your behalf and emails on your behalf to PayPal. I think that's actually possible.
My reputation.
How vicious is it in London? In Austria, where I live, they don't evict people that quickly, but maybe it's quick. I don't know.
Of income, so I think it's really important to think about how much trust we put in these
can become. Doesn't have to.
Companies, whether you're a small business getting your payments, how.
Well, they're not a monopoly.
To handle people's money, okay, and business.
Yeah, that concerns me as well. But I'm still going to share mine, which is actually some gratitude to PayPal, considerable gratitude.
Have had to shut down. Is it?
Yeah, I'm a few weeks into Stripe as well.
That control over.
I'm not sure it's our place to talk about how they feel
Over their customers. Proof. I'm not saying that this is.
Yeah, the prepaid cards are actually pretty cool. Well, I'm not going to share my name, the one that I'm using because I'm not an affiliate of them. It's kind of silly, but yeah, I have one too.
The safest way.
Let's find a good freeze frame to talk to. No. Come on, give me something. It's funny, I just gonna want to have a conversation here with you, Minnie, and I'm looking for a freeze frame. Come on. Oh, right while you're saying you're feeling better. Let's do it then. Come on, right towards the end, and you feel a lot better. Get your hand in the air. That's fine. Your hand's in the air. Okay. Minnie, I just want to say that I mean, 37 minutes. Sunday morning, March 4th, 2018. I listened to every word, and I was moved to listen to your story about PayPal. This is actually my first introduction to you. I don't know you as a person or an artist yet. I want to say thank you for making your video. I kind of position things a little bit nicer so that I would also have a nice background. My facial lighting, I noticed, is pretty bad, so you're motivating me to take better care. I'm losing my prepositions a bit, living in Austria, to take better care regarding how I present myself and how I look and my lighting and that type of thing for my videos. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to share a pretty intense story regarding my experience with PayPal and how I almost feel like PayPal would have to do a lot for me to stop being loyal to PayPal, and I'll tell you why. So why would I consider myself loyal to PayPal? Um, I had to call PayPal, I think yesterday, the day before, something like that. Um, and they end their conversations with me with something like, "Thank you for being a loyal PayPal customer." There's some kind of a special designation, like significant or special, or it's like not supreme, valued. It's not valued. Extra good. It's some word, right? Since 2006. Now, I'm going to share a pretty intense story with you. Thank you so much for, I mean, basically, it's pretty amazing. I mean, we don't know each other physically, never met you before, but, here we are having a one-on-one conversation with a larger audience. I'm going to imagine that my video is not going to have, over 100,000 views. But I do hope that my words here reach you personally, at least, Minnie, Okay, so scroll back to 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. PayPal did a fraud check on me because of dual addresses. I passed the fraud check, and I mentioned this earlier in the video. I had sort of this wake-up call that I was actually making money on, online, close to $500 a week, and I was like, wow, that's money, right? So I passed their fraud check, and here's where things kind of get intense. I had to move out from where I was living. I had to move out with my daughter. I wound up raising my daughter on my own. There's some details I'll spare, but through fraudulent behavior and deceit, turned out that I lost my business license. I had fictitious debts. I mean, I had to press charges against the Austrian version of the IRS. And I won my case at the end of 2016, but we're now at 2009, 10. We're now at 2011. Now we're 2012. 2013, so we're around then. What happened is that the Austrian government tried to seize 71,000 euros of fictitious debts from me. It took me 3 years to prove my case. Now, at the onset of that, there was a moment when I went to an ATM machine. My Austrian bank account was blocked. I put in the credit card for one of my, I have 2 American accounts. I had 2 American accounts at that time. And the machine ate the card. I panicked. I was raising my daughter. I'll even add that at the Department of Children and Family Services and at the Department of the Family Court System, I said that we have the right to family services proceedings based on facts. And the man to me said, or we could just take the child. So I was under direct threat of having my daughter seized, which apparently is like a plague, right, in the Western world currently. My Austrian card was frozen. One of my American cards was eaten by an ATM machine. I mean, know the exact corner. There's a pizza place across the way. There's a church on the other corner. I know I'm not going to say where it is. I guess I could, but well, it's a Millet or something like that. And I don't know what the cross street is, but it's in the 14th district of Vienna. There I was. It was a Bank Austria. And I just had my PayPal debit card left, right? And I wasn't going to put it in the machine because I needed access to cash. And I convinced my landlady to take rent payments via PayPal. And she said, okay. Oh, no, actually, I just sent it. I sent my rent via PayPal. And I mean, apparently it was working, right? I was scared to put my PayPal debit card in the ATM machine. And I had a moment where I had to make payments. I would use my PayPal debit card at the grocery store because there you either swipe and if something happens, you get it. But I wasn't putting it in the machine. This is 2011, 12, 13. I was calling my mom, who was living in Latvia, to send me cash via Western Union so that I could have cash because I was afraid to put my card in an ATM machine. I was going to the bank with my passport and they were acting really weird and they were still giving me money out of my Austrian account, but the government was being really weird. I mean, it was like, you know, their alerts were going on or whatever it was, but it was weird. And, you know, I was making income in PayPal. Like I was selling my ebooks. Like I wasn't doing terribly. I mean, it wasn't doing amazingly well. So I had this virtual money, and I guess what I wanted to say was that it created an intense feeling of gratitude for me that when I was under threat through absolute deceit and sinister behavior of both the Austrian version of the Internal Revenue Service and the family court system. I mean, they were being sinister, trying to seize non-existent debts that took me over 3 years, just under 3 years, to prove that they were fictitious. Revoked my business license for 3 years, just completely out of control. That's like from 13 to 16. So we're right before that. I was still legitimately allowed to earn. But I guess right as that pivot was happening, the machine ate my American card. It blocked my Austrian card. Then I got warnings that if I earned any money, I could face an up to 3,500 euro fine for every transaction. So I was selling ebooks at like $39 and 17 or 19 or whatever dollars. So I couldn't sell anything, thinking that if they said that I needed to pay 3,500 euros for selling a $17 book, that they could just amass a million, 17 times 1,000 is 17,000. But if they do 3,500 euro fee for 1,000 transactions, that's 3.5 million euros as a fine. And their letters were saying that they were threatening with jail time. In the meantime, the Department of Children and Family Services is saying that their proceedings don't need to be based on facts because they're civil proceedings, not criminal proceedings. So they can do whatever they want based on their emotions, hearsay, fantasy, accusations, whatever. So there I'm just, proving myself innocent, continuously being thought of as guilty, positioning myself between the state and my daughter. it was an extreme situation, and my only ability to pay for anything was virtually. And I was going to the grocery store using my PayPal debit card. Now this is months, and then I went to the bank, and then they finally said, yes, you'll be allowed to use your bank card. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I have a phase of a few months where, because PayPal is not beholden to or subject to, because they do not need to answer to governmental regulations, I was able to pay my rent and eat and provide for my daughter. Pretty massive. So for me, I'm still with them, and if they wanted to hire me to resolve matters with people like you and others who feel damaged, if they wanted to hire me to call, like I'll sit there and call 100, cases of people extremely dissatisfied with PayPal. They can hire me to do that. I'll call. I would do it. They'd hire me, and I would call, and I would say, look, we really want to work this out. Just let's talk about this. And I would get on Skype calls, and I would be, Mr. Resolver, Mr. Peacemaker or something. I would do it, because those months, I would say it's maybe 4 months, 5, 6 months. I don't know how many. I could look how many months of rent I paid with PayPal, but that was terrifying. And because I had access to virtual money, I was able to care for my daughter and provide for my daughter. And some money was still going into the Austrian account, because that's how I was paying for the private kindergarten. Oh yeah, and then I missed a few kindergarten payments. I remember. Oh, anyway, I remember that too. I mean, if I'm rambling on, then the kindergarten basically said that they took me off the kindergarten contract because mothers are always the ones who get custody, and that the administrator there said, I'm sorry for what's going to happen to you, and he removed me from the kindergarten contract, put my daughter's mom on as the first, is the contract holder, and then of course she didn't pay, so then they were threatening to kick Emmy out of kindergarten. It was a Thursday, and actually they were legally bound to give 2 months' notice. And the guy said, if I don't give him at least 500 euros the next day, my daughter would be kicked out of kindergarten on Monday. And at that point, $400 was the maximum that you could get out of PayPal, and I was able to use my PayPal card at an ATM machine, and I pulled out 350 euros, and I laid them on the table on the Friday. And so my daughter was able, he wanted 500. So I put him on the table, and my daughter was able to go to kindergarten on Monday. So I'm pretty grateful to PayPal, because they made, whether it's devious or whatever it is, but they're not accountable to the government. And the government was not, they're incredibly powerful when they have it in for you, and when you're being isolated by them, whether it's fair or justified or not. And then when you start looking at the way that the laws are written for civil proceedings, it's terrifying. These people are taking children, and because I had that PayPal debit card, my daughter had beautiful clothes and nail polish on every nail, and, done up hair. Little, I mean, literally I was doing it with the PayPal debit card. That's, and I wasn't putting it in the ATM machine until I actually called them. I'm like, is it going to get eaten? And I was like, I don't know. And I remember when I first tried to do cash again, but then it takes so long for them to send the debit cards. But at some point I needed cash. I think it was the kindergarten thing. Yeah. And so I sent my, so that I could, anyway. I think you can tell why I'm grateful to PayPal and why I would, I would work for them to try to resolve issues like yours. And, but I do recognize that it is quite possible that there could very well be extremely sinister and deceitful people working for PayPal, possibly even at the head of the quote-unquote company. I don't know. I don't know them personally. I am a valued customer of theirs. I've been with them since 2006. And my experience with being cut off from my real funds, non-virtual funds from my bank account, and then having my business license illegitimately revoked. I won my case. They were not real debts. I could do another video as to what actually happened. They're fictitious debts. They're literally fictitious. They were made up. They were trying to hold me accountable. They tried to seize land. It's just completely nuts. Nuts. And so because there was an agency that's not beholden to or responsible to a government in any way, I was able to pay my rent, eat, and most importantly, provide for my lovely, happy, bright, beautiful daughter. And we had a great time, frisbee food, clothes, nail polish, unicorns and rainbows. Okay, bye-bye. I enjoyed spending this time with you virtually, and we'll see if anybody watches my video. Take care.